Greetings, everybody. Greetings and welcome. Give them a wave, guys. Give them a wave to the
Hello,
masses,
everybody.
to our masses out there.
Hello.
Greetings, everybody,
Well,
and welcome to the Simply Together show on Tuesday, the 14th of June. We always say, but that's because it's true, we have some awesome guests on the show today, and my lovely co-host, the lovely Nike. How you doing, Nike?
Excited.
Excellent.
Excited for what I think I'm going to hear. I don't know what I'm going to hear, but I'm excited anyway.
Well, that's even better when you don't know sometimes. And we have the lovely Lonnie, who's joined us, who some people may have met previously before, but Nike's going to have a chat with Lonnie in just a bit. But first of all, I am going to welcome the lovely, is it Jennie Starkey? Is that right?
It is indeed.
Oh,
yeah.
Excellent. Greetings, Jennie. Greetings. It is so good to see you and to meet you today.
And
oh, excellent. For the guys out there, I'll just explain just very briefly. So my name's Dimply. I have got dimples, but Dee Bailey, and I'm the founder of Simply Deez Events. So this is one of the shows that we do, and it is a weekly show every Tuesday lunchtime, 12 till 12:30, and we have just different guests sharing different topics. What we ask every time, some people may find it boring. Some people may find it boring, but we ask you to share. And the reason we say share is information that is shared may not be something that you may be interested in, but it may be something that is just what somebody else needs to hear at that given point. So, Jennie, as I said, welcome and thank you so much for coming on today. I know our time is brief, so I'll get you back onto another show at another time. But can you just tell us just a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk about your current situation, if that's okay?
Okay, well, I'm Jennie. This is my 50th year on this earth, so
Yay! Give it up.
Yeah, I'm 50 in November, but I'm making a whole year of celebration.
Definitely.
And I'm a single mum of 4. I've got 4 kids ranging from 24 to 14. Wow. And I'm a lecturer. I lecture in psychology.
Wow. And where do you do that? Is that in Bedfordshire or?
It's at Milton Keynes College.
Okay.
So I'm in Bucks. I did used to teach at Central Beds College in Dunstable. I've taught at University of Northampton as well. So I get around a bit.
In the best way.
In the best possible academic way.
Yes. Of course. Okay. So life's been, I'm sure, like for everybody, hurdles, highs, lows.
Yeah.
And the in-between also as well. Now, this is how those that are watching and thinking that this is all prepped. We've never met before. We've never even spoken before, have we, Jen?
No.
We've never even spoken before. And I'd like you, if just to share whatever you'd like to share with us today. But when Cecile sort of like shared a little bit of your journey, and I've read some of your blogs. Yeah. Powerful stuff. So do you want to share sort of like a bit about your current condition, if you don't mind?
Okay, so as I said, that's my background. Busy mum, lecturer, full-time work, enjoying life, very social person. Everything was going great. Okay, and then in lockdown, in the first sort of major lockdown, sort of end of May, beginning of June time, I noticed that my speech was starting to get a bit slurred. Because of my job, I know what my voice sounds like. I hear myself chaffing on every day. And I knew there was something wrong. My family didn't notice it at first. Fast forward sort of to the end of lockdown, where I started seeing people I probably hadn't seen for a while. They started commenting. Fast forward again, I was referred to neurology department of L&D Hospital, and then I had various tests. All the tests were coming back clear, so I was celebrating, thinking, well, it's nothing serious, because I've had MRI scans and God knows what, and nothing's coming back as being an issue. But I got referred to University College London in September 2021, and I was diagnosed with motor neuron disease, which was a massive shock. And to be honest,
sorry, Jen, can I ask you, did you know at that time when you were diagnosed, did you know actually what it was?
I was going to say, I knew about Stephen Hawking's, and that was about it, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And now, fast forwarding, although Stephen Hawking's was a brilliant brain and did a lot of good, actually, and I don't want to sound controversial, but it didn't really make motor neuron disease clear to people because he lived for a very long time. But in reality, 50% of people that get diagnosed with motor neuron disease are dead within 3 years. Okay, so it is a very life-limiting disease. God knows why Stephen Hawking's lived for so long. I don't really know. But as a result, after I was diagnosed, a lot of people were sending me get well wishes. And it was really quite awkward because obviously I'm not going to get well. And I was in sort of a zombie state for quite a long time. And then I thought, do you know what? There's so much ignorance about motor neuron disease. I'm going to start writing a blog. It was kind of on two levels, maybe wanting to inform people about it. Because, to begin with, I only told a handful of people, maybe about 20 close friends, and at least half of them said get well soon. So that is how I misunderstood motor neuron diseases. So I wanted to write it sort of informed, but also for me, writing is quite cathartic. So it's almost sort of self-helping, getting all my feelings out. I try for the blog to be funny as well as serious, and
it is.
It's a bit of everything. It's just kind of what I'm up to, what I'm doing, and a little bit of serious stuff as well. So that's the blog. And I'd really encourage people, if you could, just to even read one of my posts, because I'm hoping it will just inform and entertain at the same time. And then I was still in a bit of a zombie state for the first few months. And a lot of people had said, what can we do to help? At the time, I didn't know what I could do myself, let alone anyone else. But there's such a sense of support and love around me. I'm a very, very lucky person. And I knew a lot of people asked to help. And because of the fact that motor neuron disease research into it is so underfunded, there are no drugs you can take that can cure. You can't cure motor neuron disease. There's one prescription drug called Riluzole that in trials has been proven to lengthen your lifespan for 3 months approximately. So there needs to be a massive amount of research about motor neuron disease. And there's actually been a quote from an eminent sort of researcher who says motor neuron disease is not incurable, it's underfunded. Because if you compare motor neuron disease to, let's take cancer, everybody knows someone that's been touched by cancer. And when you look at prevalence of disease, there's 2 ways to look at it. Either in incidence, so that means how many people get it. So if you compare MD to cancer, in every 100,000 people, 2.6 people will be diagnosed with MND. compared with cancer, where 442 people would get diagnosed. So you can see the difference. And then risk, you probably see the adverts for cancer funding on TV, and they say the risk is 1 in 2. That doesn't mean that 1 in 2 people will get it, but there's a risk in your lifetime that 1 in 2 people could get it. In comparison, the risk of getting MD in your lifetime is 1 in 300. So I can totally understand why MD is not funded as much as, say, cancer or heart disease or diabetes, because it's not so widespread. However, you know, in those figures, 2.6 in every 100,000, that means approximately 250,000 people in their lifetime could contract MD, and at present there's no cure. So I don't really think that's acceptable when you think about the science and the progress we could make if there was enough funding. So in November, the government pledged £50 million over 5 years to research into MND. Unfortunately, it hasn't been released as yet because there's a big disagreement about the way that funding will be applied for. The document that was put forward by the MD Association said we really need that money, but we need to only apply for it in one bulk, because people who have MD only have years, if that. Some people die within months of getting MD. So the research needs to be quick, and it was agreed to begin with that we could apply, MD Society could apply with one application, but now the government backtracked and said no, there have to be possibly about 50 applications to draw down that money. Each application takes about 5 months.
Oh my
so
gosh.
you can imagine how long that will take. So that kind of got me a bit frustrated and angry.
Good girl.
And now I'm surrounded by a massive community of love and support. I've started fundraising to try and give the money to M&D research. Today I've had a Pilates session that I raised £750. And last Saturday we had a charity walk that's raised £2,600. So in the pot at the moment, there's £3,400.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm blown away by how much support I've received. It's amazing. 50 people turned out to walk a section of some people walked the whole 22 miles. Other people just joined in different points. But it was really actually quite overwhelming and emotional for me, like as a person, to see that people had done that for me. And, you know, I was very emotional. And next Sunday 26, I've got Pamper Day in my back garden. I'm very lucky because the Pilates, I've got a friend who does Pilates. The walk was organised by other friends. The Pamper Day, because I work in education, I know hairdressing lecturers, beauty lecturers. So they've, and actually the massage is being done by a biology lecturer, would you believe it? But she's great at massage. So that's happening. I'm doing a wild swim, hopefully at Luton. And we're having a big charity fundraising evening in October. So we got things on meditation as well. We've got lots of things going on, sort of started in April, going to end in October. And Brilliant. It's a massive community feel. And that is really why I'm on, just to spread word about M&D, how serious the funding is for that. We really need funding because what M&D is motor neurons actually send messages from our spinal cord to our brain so we can move. And not only movement, voluntary movement, but involuntary movement. So for me, at the moment, I have got my mobility, but I'm starting to get cramps in my legs and arms. My speech is affected on my swallowing. I struggle to swallow at times, but eventually, as MD progresses, you lose the ability to walk, talk, eat, and finally breathe. It's a very cruel disease, and it really needs researching. So I'm sort of banging on about that, but I'm also pushing my own fundraising, which once the pot is full, hopefully at the end of October, that'll be going straight to MD research.
Oh, Jennie, thank you so much for sharing. There's so many comments that have gone off the page. There's so many comments. Louise Carker's put, I studied the Diana Pretty case at uni as I went to school with her children. You are such an inspiration.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Do
you know why I want to put money in as well? Because I'll be taking out of that Motor Neuron Disease Association fund.
Yeah.
I bank my voice because my voice is gradually going. Eventually, I won't be able to talk. But I bank my voice, so it's not quite the droid voice that Stephen Hawking used. It's really progressive research in that. And I bank my own voice, and it's like a synthesized version of my own voice. So I will be able to converse with people through this app. And the Motor Neuron Disease Association paid for that for me. I got a grant for that. So I'm already taking, I will be taking a lot more, and I want to put in before I take out.
That is fabulous. Thank you. I've got a question for you because time is, I know that's just it. Time is tight. How are your children and how did you tell them?
It was really difficult because they knew I was ill. Well, we all did. But none of us even had an inkling it would be motor neuron disease. And as I said, my children are varying ages and they're all individuals. So when I got back from hospital, I told them all that night because I didn't want there to be secrets. I'm a mum on my own with them. I've never had secrets. But I just find a way of maybe putting it in the right frame for their age. So I told them all in different ways. I've tried to be reassuring with my younger two. And my older two are adults. However, as a mum, you always try and protect, don't you? However old they are. We're slowly coming to terms with it. As I said, because we're all individuals, we're dealing with it in different ways, but we're just trying to make the best of time left and make good memories. We've got a segue booked, including my mum, who is 70, so that should be an absolute laugh.
Well, we're definitely going to get you back to find out how that that went. There's, as I sort of said, there's so many comments, and I wish we had longer time to have you on. If you can, because what I'm going to need to do is bring Nikkei, co-host on, and Lonnie, and then sort of like at the end, it'd be really great if we could just do a quick wrap with you, so you can just sort of like say the signs, and obviously if there's an association or anything, because anybody who's watching may want to know who to get in contact with, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Jen, for taking the time. We're going to bow out now, Jen, and hand over to Nikkei and Lonnie.
Oh, thank you. She's gone. I was actually going to ask her a question.
Time, Nikkei, time.
I know. But just obviously that Jennie said about Stephen Hawking's, because the minute you said it, I thought to myself, yeah, that's right, actually, because it did make it seem that it's something that that you could just live with if you overcome things. But by the same token, isn't that what Reed had?
Pardon? I didn't.
The first guy who plays Superman, because he got a lot of back. It's not. Oh
no, he got paralysed after a horse riding accident.
Oh right, okay. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. That's bad. All right. The attitude, he got quite a lot of backlash when he tried to fund something to repair it. So it was just quite interesting when you said that. Okay. Anyways, it's been lovely listening to you, Jennie. So I'll subscribe to your blog. Hey, Lonnie, how are you doing?
Hey, Nikkei. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
I've been having a nosy around your Instagram. So I see there that you've got vintage clothing. So how long have you been doing that for?
Me and my brother started at the back end of last year. Me and him have always been into clothing. It's always something that me and him have held like, I don't know, quite close to our kind of like person. Like it's a part of us. It's a part of our family. We've always been into clothes. My dad's a very fashionable guy. My mum's a very fashionable girl. So it's kind of always been around us. And me and him for a little while worked in some jobs and stuff, trying to sort of figure out what we wanted to do with our lives. And I was listening to something one day, and it basically talked about making a passion of yours into a job, essentially. So me and him endeavoured to do that towards the back end of last year, and I'm glad to say that it's gone really well ever since we sort of kicked that off. We sell predominantly on Depop at the moment, just because there's no overheads for the use of their service, and we're just trying to grow the business at the moment. Really, we try and pride ourselves on being sustainable with the packaging that we use to ship, and obviously selling vintage clothes. It's garments that have already been produced, so we're not really contributing any waste, in the sense of we're not having to dye garments, we're not having to cut fabric that then is going to go to waste and all the rest of it. It's already things that have been made, you know, and people always talk about how the old ways are the best, and when it came to manufacturing clothes, I'd be hard pressed to agree with them. You know, the quality of a garment that you get today was usually made by somebody that worked in a union backed factory in America or somewhere else in the world. It depends obviously what you're selling, but when it comes to you know, vintage Levi's, vintage army wear, workwear, things of that nature, they were usually made by workers for workers and things in America, so they were always made to a high standard and things of that nature. So it's garments that have been around for many years, that are going to be here for many more years, because they were built to last. They were built with quality and integrity, and the people in the factories knew what they were doing. Whereas now it's all about fast fashion and people turning a profit, and people being, you know, I don't want to go as far as abused, but very underpaid. I mean, obviously in this country it's very different, but there are people that are working in factories for sometimes 20-hour days, going home and then coming straight back just to fulfill the quick turnaround of items. And it's not something that I personally think is sustainable for the planet, and definitely not sustainable for people. So we're trying to offer a solution. We're trying to offer a solution in Luton as well. We've got a pop-up towards the end of this month, the 26th of June, in Luton at Monstera Canteen, which is just, you know, if you know Luton town, it's just at the back of the centre of town. So we're trying to sort of feel out our market in Luton, so hopefully something bigger can kind of come up and spring up in the community, hopefully. So
wow. I mean, I love the rationale that you mentioned in terms of sustainability and not adding extra waste. But how did you get your path into vintage per se?
I think we've always been quite a conscious family. We always kind of keep an eye on things that are going on in the world. Not just you know, there's so many geopolitical things going on now, it's hard to keep track of. But I like to think of, what can I do in my own world, the world that I can control, the four walls around me that are gonna, you know, have the most kind of change. And when I thought about it, you know, buying constantly new items of clothing, that's something that I have personal control over. That's something that I can actually have an effect on. And if I'm buying predominantly used clothing and wearing that, I'm doing all that I can, because I don't have the reach of a government. I don't have the reach of a local council. You know, maybe not yet. Perhaps there's something that I can do in that respect in the future. But I'm trying to take ownership and accountability for what I can do at the moment. And that is I have a passion for something that is not necessarily the most sustainable industry. Well, what can I do myself to have the most sustainable impact? And that's buy vintage clothes, buy things that have already been made and used and passed through a few hands.
Yeah, that's really good. And I suppose it's logical then that you move into vinyl, which is making a comeback.
Definitely. Well, that's my dad's side of things, you know. That's where his influence comes in. You know, he's a music man. He's a DJ. That's what he's always done. He's always made music and produced for as long as I can remember, since he was probably my age. So now moving into that is the next logical sort of thing. And it's also, you know, it's trial and error when you start a business. This is things that I wish entrepreneurs would talk about more often. It's like, you know, there's trial and error. You don't always know, and you don't necessarily always. It's on your shoulders. It's your business. You know, you're trying to figure out what is something that could work in Luton or a wider, you know, in a wider place, because Luton's a small community. However, at least it feels like it is. However, you know, when you look at the population of Luton, there's like 250,000 people that live there. You know, it's a big place within the populations within the UK. Maybe not as big as Birmingham or Manchester or London, which is right on the doorstep. That's got, you know, 4 times as many people just in the north area of it. But there's a lot of opportunity in Luton. It's something that annoys me, because sometimes it kind of feels like a crabs in a bucket mentality. If you've ever watched Crabs in a Bucket, whenever you were crabbing as a kid, somebody tries to climb out, a crab tries to climb out the bucket and they pull them back in. And I feel like if everybody just, you know, something's going on here, you go and support that, the good karma and the circle of energy will come back to you. And that's something that I've always tried to do. However, you know, things have started and failed, and not everything does succeed. But I feel like it's important to go and show your face and go and help where is necessary and help if you can.
That's fantastic. Dee asked the question about she just come back and said Luton is big. But she asked the question, what were you doing before? You mentioned that you were doing these jobs there. Were the jobs related to fashion, or were you just sort of making your way with not knowing?
I was just making my way. You know, I've spoken to Dee before, and at that time I think I was maybe, this is the thing. So I left college, and through my own kind of naivety, I kind of went through the college system, and I was going to become an engineer, and that never, you know, I got through college and I was kind of disenfranchised with the idea of them being an engineer at that point. So, you know, as a young man, I kind of was like, well, I need to do something. Let's acquire some skills. So I went into the into the trades for a little while. I did some I appreciate that. I see a little comment there. So I went, I did what anybody sort of does when they're straight out of college. They don't really know what to do. Well, I want to do some things, but I haven't got any money behind me. So I got on the tools. I was laying concrete slabs for a little while. I did roofing. I fitted garage doors. I did a little bit of electrician work and all the rest of it. And, you know, it all kind of fizzled out in the end. Like, you know, I did it for a little while. I got sick of it. I got another job. I got sick of that. I got another job. Got sick of that. So I just, you know, you kind of have to have a reality check with yourself sometimes and just go, what do I actually want to do? What is my path? Where can I go with things? Well, you know, you like clothing. What about that? And it was just like it was a light bulb effect from there. And I started to put my energy and my resources and my money behind it. I teamed up with my brother, and then my dad got involved with it. And it's kind of gone from there, really. You know, we've kind of the snowball effect, as they say. So we've all kind of now come together, and we're putting our heads together around what we can do. And that's what's led us to do the first pop-up, which was a major success at the end of last month. And now the natural progression of it, we're doing another one. It made me see that there was a demand for it in Luton. Yeah. Like Dee said, Luton is big. you know, Luton is a big place, and it's like, right, cool, we need to just keep this moving, and hopefully we'll get to the position where we feel like we know Luton enough to perhaps have a physical location, have a store. However, you don't want to run before you can walk, and one step at a time. You know, I heard this really good quote once, and it was like there was this story about a dog, a horse, and a little boy, and they came to this wooded area in this story, and the boy said, oh, I can't see a way through to the horse and the dog. And the horse said, can you see your next step? And the boy said, yeah. And the horse said, well, just take that. So this is the next step for us, you know, just trying to figure out what is our sort of market, our niche, because everybody's got to have a unique selling point, because there's so many people in the vintage thing now. Like, what do we do better than anybody else? Like, what do we do better than anybody else? What do we know better than anybody else? And that's what we're still trying to figure out. And we'll see.
Dee here has put that you need to be in school showcasing, because a lot of things you have said, you know, about just going through it sounded to me like going through the motions, which we all do. And then you come out the other end, and then you were quite disenfranchised with it. So she suggested that you might want to get in the schools and go and mentor and talk to them.
Definitely. You know, if I can be of service and I can help just one person, then that's what I'd like to do. But you know, it's again, one step at a time. We'll get onto the motivational speaking at one point, I hope. But yeah, it's I hope I can help some people. That would be really nice.
Fantastic. So where can people find out about this pop-up? Where is it going to be? What time exactly? And if they can't make it, where can they find you?
That's a great question. So the Instagram, everything goes on the Instagram. You know, it's just the way of the world these days. You know, everything goes online, and that's the way that you have to sort of go about spreading your message or what's going on with you. It's at Swanee Collective, all one word, and the location for the pop-up is Monstera Canteen in Luton. It's 52 Cheapside, but all of that information that'll all be on the Instagram. So give the Instagram a follow and just keep an eye on things there, you know. And if you can't make it to the pop-up, Depop is where we sell everything. Again, Swanee Collective.
Oh, so you mean to tell me I've got to download my Depop again? That's it.
This is it. You guys, it's free to download, so you're not going to struggle with anything there. You know,
I had it before, so yeah, well done.
Thank you.
That was really interesting. So, Deez back.
Deez back. Lonnie, you are absolutely amazing. When we last spoke, which probably over a year ago, which was right in a lockdown, what a different conversation we were having.
Definitely, but still a relevant conversation, nevertheless, because I feel like that I was where a lot of people, a lot of young people, a lot of people that are even much older in life, they find themselves where they're passionate about something, but they don't know how to make it into something that they can be doing full time. And I don't know, I guess because I'm in a very fortunate situation. You know, I'm at home where there are people that have mortgages and kids to take care of, and, you know, responsibilities that far outweigh mine. And I'm not sitting here saying, well, you can just go and do it as easy as I can. But what I'm saying is that it's those little next steps. It's the next logical progression. Okay, cool. My friend's running a fair at the weekend. Oh, wait, I have a Sunday off. Oh, perhaps I can take my art, my pottery, my jewelry, this thing that I'm passionate about, this thing that, you know, I sit there and I sit down doing pottery, or I sit there doing jewelry making, or I sit there making jeans, or I sit there making tote bags or whatever. And the time flies, and it feels like it just, there's no friction there with anything. It all just flows, and you get into this state.
Can I say something?
Of course.
Sort of obviously being in work and education, I actually teach adults. Mm-hmm. So I teach from 19 up. Mm-hmm. But obviously I've got children of my own, and I really think what you've got to say would resonate a lot with youth, because nowadays there's this instant gratification. People think everything happens overnight, okay, and listen to you would really give them sort of clarification that we don't know what we want to do as soon as we leave school. I'm 50. I still don't know what I want to do, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you've got to plant the seed and let it grow. It's not going to be an oak tree overnight. It's got to sort of start shooting and grow itself. So what you've got to say about that and your experience will be really valuable. I tell you what, you need to start advertising yourself as a guest speaker at assemblies or something in secondary schools, because you're so cool and
Lonnie
looking. Children, if I stood up and said that, they'd say, "Is that old bird lecturing me?" But if you stood up, kids would listen.
Maybe. I think maybe because I've been there as well. It's like, you know, you have somebody come in and talk at assembly.
Lived experience.
It's different. You know, it's somebody. It's not just your headmaster or the teacher that you don't jive with, who doesn't get it doesn't even know you, doesn't even understand who you are. I think because I've been there, and there have been teachers that stood in front of me, but then teachers that did understand me as well. And it's kind of like you resonate with it, because I'm not sitting here and saying that, oh, you can just do it tomorrow. You can't, because that's just unrealistic. And you'd be craving that dopamine hit, that instant gratification of wanting to just have something the next day. That, let me tell you, that's not where, as on a chemical level. So my mum's a counsellor, right? So on a chemical level within the brain, there's two things that generate a positive emotion like within your brain chemistry. There's dopamine and there's serotonin. The dopamine is addictive. You want it next hit after next hit after next hit. That's why you reach for the chocolate. That's why people reach for the drink and the drugs and things of that nature. And again, no judgment to them, because everybody has that little quick fix, that little quick turnaround that they want to feel better, that little high. But that's not where, and easier said than done, but it's the serotonin, it's the challenge in yourself, it's the struggle, and then the
gratification
gratification after that, after the hard work, after the workout, after the cold wild swim that you're talking about. That's where the serotonin comes in, and that isn't
longer, and that's longer lasting,
way longer lasting.
You're talking to a psychology lecturer. I know what he's talking about.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Put people together. Oh my gosh, so many messages coming through, Lonnie. And in terms of when I sort of said about the conversation back a year and a bit ago, that you were on, I think your mum was on, and that you were sharing some things. And obviously, we've all, no matter what our ages, have going through different journeys, which is what I said to Jennie at the beginning. And when you are sharing that, exactly what I sort of said, that experience of, we could be sharing that. It's like, well, you're old, and young people think we were just born big. They don't really get the fact that we've actually been through so many different things. But when you have, and you're not even trying, Lonnie, you're naturally gifted. Not just in that, I think, as in like sharing, as I sort of said, whether it be assemblies or events. We've already got you booked. You better put in your diary the 26th of November. International Men's Day.
You have both been absolutely amazing. Now, I just want to quickly share this with you, if you don't mind. So I work for a property company, nothing very exciting, but I had just come off a call, and with this lady, obviously I can't divulge anything, but basically she was completely the opposite. It's like everything worries me. It's everybody else's fault. It's, you know, and don't get me wrong, the issues that she's experienced are very serious. But when you sort of flip that around, you come off the back of that, and then I'm listening to you, Jennie, with what you've said, and then listening to Lonnie with all that positive thing. It does. We need more of you guys out there, because that's.
I mean, the thing is, I think it's all about your locus of control. I mean, you're either going to blame the world for the position you're in, or you're going to dig deep inside and play the hell out of the cards you dealt with.
It's personal
accountability. You know, you've only got what you're given in life, and you need to make the best of it, even if it's something crap. don't let it define you, let you define it.
Exactly. I actually wanted to say that to the person, but obviously I'm not allowed to say anything like that. But I was just thinking, I was literally blessed to come off that and to come here. And going back to the stuff that you said, Lonnie, you're right about older people, because sometimes you get on a train and you can just stay there through no fault, not because you're negative or positive, you just probably don't even know that you could turn your passion into something else. So it's not necessarily an age thing. It could be people who are nearly 60 can have that, be in that position.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just feel that the pleasure and learning has been all mine today. It was great.
Appreciate
it. And there was one question there, I think Dee asked about MND. Is it hereditary? Somebody asked that in that chat.
Yeah.
Just to say, only 10% of people that get MND have got it through genes, genetically. 90% of people, like me, we don't know why we got it. And that's why they need to be researched. Because if you know why you got it, you can try and cure it.
Yeah.
So that was answering that question.
That is fabulous. OMG, the G. Nikkei. All the messages. What an absolutely incredible, incredible show that we've had. You both kind of, if I'm honest with you, brought a tear to my eye for different reasons, but kind of it gels well. If you guys, when you look back on the show today, and you'll understand what we're saying. It'd be great to have you back on, and we will be staying in touch with both of you and how we can support you. Obviously, with all the fundraising that you're doing, Jennie. I know sort of like via Cecile, we'll be sharing more of that information. Lonnie, next Sunday, the pop-up in the mall, we'll be sharing that. We've got the information. Please stay in touch also as well. Guys, you're probably going to go off the screen for just a moment. Just going to sort of like wrap up, but if you could stay, because we just want to thank you. Literally give us 2 minutes and we'll bring you back on just to say thank you. So Nikkei, oh my gosh. What a show. So just finishing up, everybody, for those that are watching, thank you so much. For those who have contributed, thank you once again. This Thursday we have our monthly Life in a Lockdown Zoom, so please come along, and there's so much information, and it would be great actually if Jennie, Lonnie, if you guys are available, we'll make sure you got the details. If you guys could come along and share for those people that didn't make it today. On Saturday, this Saturday, the 18th of June, I am truly honoured to be hosting the lovely Daniela Swampakawi. She has a book launch, The Reason to Love Them. I'm not going to say it anymore. It's in Bedford. Information's been shared. We will continue to share. Tickets are £10. She's given them away, to be honest. Tickets are £10, and that money is going to Faces, which is an organisation in Bedford that supports young families. So that's on the 18th. So much more. 3rd of July, we are back after 2 and a bit years. We have the Simply Deez Lady Soiree, Sunday, 3rd of July. That is going to be at the Luton Irish Forum. That is 2 till 5 p.m. Thank you, Shelley, because I knew all of that anyway. We are going to be, we have got a health and wellbeing event on Saturday, the 16th of July. That is between the hours of 10 and 2. It's a drop-in, so just pop in. Lots of information on a range of health and well-being activities and just information for you out there. I'm going to stop waffling because the time is ticking and we've got to get back to work. But oh yes, very quickly, there is now, which Simply Deez and Shelley Scrumptious are supporting, Stockwood Park have got a monthly craft and food fair artisan, and that is the second Sunday every month. It's 11 till 5. More information, contact us and we can share that with you. And on Saturday, the 23rd of July, is the African festival. That's with Pamtango Radio, and that is going to be at Manor Road Park. More information again, there's stall space and stall space. And actually, if you want a food stall, that is also available as well. All information, simply deezevents@gmail.com. Anything more you want to say, Nike?
Nope, it's been a fantastic show. Absolutely worth it.
Excellent.
Yeah, interesting, inspiring people.
Yeah, definitely. So please follow Lonnie. All his Instagram details are in the chat. Obviously, we've been beaming out. Thank you, Pam Tango Radio, because we've been live on Pam Tango today also as well. Exactly. So thank you to Munya and to Mambo for allowing us to do that. And we will catch you guys real soon. You know how to get hold of us. So for now, let's say goodbye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.